Hello, everybody, and welcome here up at BSN. Today is Wednesday, April 27th. When I'm recording this, it is Wednesday, April 27th. This is going to be another pre-recorded episode today. It is going to be a special episode today, as I'm going to be doing one topic and one topic only. The NFL Draft is on Thursday, April 28th. That is tomorrow. When I'm doing this, it's tomorrow. When you're going to be watching this and when this is going to be going up on YouTube, it will be today. So super pumped up. NFL Draft is one day away. When I'm doing this, it's one day away. Like I said, it kind of gets complicated with the pre-recorded videos of how I talk and how what days and stuff I use. So when I'm doing this, we're just about 24 hours out. We're a little bit we're just about 24 hours out from the draft when I'm doing this. When this is up, I'll try to get it up as close as I can to the NFL Draft. I'll try to do my best to get it up a couple hours prior. Once I become available, my schedule becomes available where I can get it up, get it on YouTube, I will make sure to do that as quick as I can so you can watch it. Do whatever you want. If you want to watch it, you can. Whatever you want to do with it. If you want to watch it after the draft and then see what my predictions were like, and that's another thing too. I'm doing this a day before, so it's not like I'm doing this after the draft and claiming that I did it before. No, I'm uploading this before the draft, before night one. Now, here's what I wanted. Here's my plan. So I'm gonna this is Wednesday when I'm doing this. I'm doing this on Wednesday. It'll be up on Thursday. Draft starts Thursday night. I believe 8 Eastern's when it starts, the usual time. Friday, I will do a podcast recapping night one and previewing night two. So that will be its own separate video. So today, I'm only going to preview the Jets and the Giants day one picks. And on Friday, we'll preview their day two picks, their second round picks. That's what I'm going to do today. So, today I'm just going to give you their first round picks, give you my draft preview for both the Jets and the Giants. Then tomorrow will be the draft, which is Thursday. When you're watching this, it will be Thursday. That will be round one. This video will be up on Thursday. And then on Friday I'll record a video on Friday, and I'll be able to get it up on Friday. I have a free day on Friday, so I'll be able to get it up on Friday, record on Friday, and boom, everything's up before night two starts, which I believe is an hour earlier at 7 Eastern on Friday. So that will be it. So tonight is just going to be one topic. I'm not talking about any other sports. I'm not going to do a New York sports update. That will be all on Friday. As we head into the weekend, I'll do a New York sports update, and I'll talk about, baseball and a little bit of that stuff too on Friday. It will probably be mainly NFL draft stuff, but I'll also get you ready for the weekend, with, hockey, basketball, there's no New York basketball going on as the Nets got swept, and I might, Nets got swept and stuff, but all that stuff going on, I'll get to that on Friday. Today's just going to be one topic. It's going to be the Jets and Giants draft. I'm going to give you the preview, give you my picks for the first two. I did not do trades. I'm not doing an full NFL mock draft this year. I did start the creation of one. I'm actually midway through it. I plan on finishing it before the draft starts. But I'm not going to reveal it because it's just too long. I don't have the time to make an hour video on the entire draft. So today's just going to be Jets and the Giants mock draft. I'm going to give you what I think and what the Jets should do at 4 and 10 and what the Giants should do at 5 and 7. And on Friday, I'll make a video on the second and third round, day 2, what the Jets and Giants should do. And I'll preview a little bit of day 3. Day 3 is tough to preview because it's a Saturday. And obviously, day 3 is a little tough because you also got to see how day 2 plays out. And then on Monday, I'll either pre-record a video on Sunday night or Monday. I'll make a video recapping everything, looking at, how each team improved and all that good stuff. So, a lot to get to. With all that being said, draft night is just about 24 hours away. When you're watching this, it will only be a few hours away. Thursday can't come soon enough. I'm super pumped up. I'm a little nervous because this year has been very, very... this year's draft's very odd. You don't see many drafts like this very often. There's not a clear-cut number one. There's not a clear-cut top 5. There's not that one guy in the draft that can be that franchise difference maker. So it's really an interesting draft for GMs and all the NFL teams to navigate as they try to pick their future players that are going to make an impact for rosters years to come. So, with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to give you my Jets and Giants mock draft. Now, I would just wanted to start off with this. I'm going to start with the Jets, then get to the Giants. I just wanted to start off with this. Thank the football gods or whoever you want to thank in the world of football. Joe Douglas, we can thank Joe Douglas as a Jet fan for not giving Sam Darnold another year and that blowing up into our face, because thank the football gods that the Jets took a quarterback last year, and we don't have to argue about right now whether or not to pick, I don't know, Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis at number 4. I just wanted to say that first, because it is hard enough. You see all these Jet fans contemplating over Thibodeau, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Equano, all these guys. You see all them talking about the receivers. Do you go Drake London? Do you go Williams? Do you go Garrett Wilson? Do you wait and stay back? Do you trade back? What do you do? What's the trade package for Deebo Samuel? All those things. It's hard enough. And it's hard enough to figure out who we're going to take. And there's so much drama of who we're going to take, let alone that's not even with a quarterback. So really, really, really glad that at least the Jets don't have to take a quarterback, and the Giants don't either. Now, obviously the Giants quarterback situation is not set in stone, but it seems as if they're going to go the route of an offensive line or edge or corner or somebody like that in the draft. And like I said, it's actually kind of funny, because the Jets have the 4th pick and the 10th pick. Giants have the 5th pick and the 7th pick. So in my eyes, I really see for both teams how this draft plays out is whatever happens within the top 4 picks, whoever the best guy available left, I think the Giants are taking. If the Jets, don't take Sauce and Sauce is there at 5, I think the Giants are taking Sauce. If Thibodeau falls through the first 4, and let's say the Jets take Sauce at 4, Thibodeau's through 5, I think the Giants are taking Thibodeau. If Equanu falls through the top 4, I think the Giants are taking Equanu. So in a way, kind of just to give you a little bit of a layout, I think the Giants kind of take that guy that falls out of the top 4, that kind of odd man out, that could be a top 3 player that kind of falls out. If a miracle happens where you get Aiden Hutchinson that falls out of the top 4, Giants take him. I've heard a lot of people believe in Derek Stingley all of a sudden. That could be an option for the Giants at 7 if they want to go edge at 5 or offensive lineman at 5. They could back off, wait a pick, go at 7 to take Stingley, a guy who seems to be rising up some draft boards as we get closer and closer to the draft. I don't know how I feel about him, but he is a guy to look out for. Injury prone, but when he's out there and when he's healthy, he can be an elite player maker, but it's his injury. He's a guy that's been injured a lot. It's not been one injury. It's been a couple nagging things, and those are things that you could take to the NFL, take into your pro career, and those could be a little bit of concern. So the Jets and Giants obviously both have a lot on their table. They're both looking for different options, right? You go to the Jets side, edge, corner, obvious needs, wide receivers, obviously. Offensive line's in need, but it's not a dire need. It's not a need where you really, really need it. You got Laken Tomlinson in the offseason. George Font's coming off a career year. You already have Elijah Vera Tucker you took last year and had a very promising rookie season. You got to just hope. You just got to cross your fingers and hope that Mekhi Becton's back to the Mekhi Becton we saw in his rookie year, and that was one of the better rookie tackles in the league. And not the guy, obviously he got injured last year, but not the guy that we saw last year in training camp where he was a little bit overweight, was a little slow, was getting beat a lot in training camp. You gotta hope you get the Mekhi Becton of 2020. He was one of the lone bright spots on the roster during the second year of Adam Gase, where the Jets went a dreadful 2-14. He was one of the lone bright spots on that offense and on that roster in general. It was a dreadful season. So obviously with the Jets and the Giants, obviously needs. Now, Giants, offensive line, clear need. Edge could also be a need. Corner, your secondary's taking a little bit of a hit this offseason. Logan Ryan's gone. There's obviously been a lot of rumors and a lot of, there's a lot of unknowns about whether or not James Bradbury's going to be in a Giant uniform come week 1. He's a guy to look out for. If he's going to be to go, you could fill in another corner. You could take Sauce at 5 if he drops there. Boom, there's your fill, and there's your number 1 guy for years to come. Never let up a touchdown in his college football career. I've always said that. Whatever team in this NFL draft, whether it's the Jets, whether he's going to New York or he's not, whether he's going to the Jets or the Giants or he's not, whoever gets Sauce Gardner, they're getting a legit player. A guy who never let up a touchdown in his college career. I don't care who you're playing up against. I don't care who you're guarding. Never letting up a touchdown in the amount of snaps that he played. That's something special in itself. So there's a lot of talent. And I've always said that. Like I said, the one complicated thing with this draft is there's a lot of talent, but it's all kind of unknown of where it's going to fall. And I guess you could say that about every draft, but there's a lot of unknown talent. There's talent there, but it's like, where does the talent fit? Like, we all knew last year, top 2 picks were Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, I should say in that order. We all knew that. And last year, Trevor Lawrence was that different, was that franchise player that was one of the best quarterback draft prospects we've ever seen come out of college. Zach Wilson was the clear-cut number 2. I know there's some people that thought it was Justin Fields. I think Zach Wilson was the clear-cut number 2 for a long time, right? A lot of things last year that were guaranteed. This year, however, like I said, so many. I mean, we don't even know who's going to be number 1. There was a report that came out a couple hours ago about, the Jaguars are still split on number 1. The owner wants, I forget exactly who. I think the owner wants, is it the owner that wants, let's see. It's, I can look here because I found this funny. The owner wants Hutchinson, but GM Trent Baalke wants Traven Walker, who's another defensive guy another defensive player too. So you look at them two, they it seems like they're still split. So we don't even quite know who's going to be the number 1 pick yet. So it's kind of funny there in that aspect. But just laying a couple names out there, like I said, I did the Jets draft possibilities a couple months ago, similar to the Giants. Giants could look at pieces, offensive line. They could look at, defense. They could look at corner. They could, maybe late rounds, they could look at to boost up the receiver core a little bit. I always say this, the Giants are in a weird spot because they went that their cap space isn't great, so having 2 picks in the top 7, 5 and 7, having 2 picks in the top 7 are big for them because they didn't have a big splashy free agency, like the Jets where they made some key moves. They didn't have that big splashy free agency like other teams, so the draft is really pivotal for the Jets and Giants. And I'll continue to say this, the 2 New York football teams have a combined 4 picks in the top 10, so that in itself is huge. It's also just goes to show you how bad New York football has been the past couple of years. But that in itself is huge. Both the Jets and the Giants have ginormous opportunities ahead of them to change these franchises. And I will continue to say that. And I'll get to the mock draft in a second, but I will continue to say it. I can't stress the importance for Joe Douglas and his staff to get this right. If you get this right, this is the most pivotal draft I think we've had for the Jets in a really long time. Because Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas both come into this season, their seats are a little warm. It was a 4-win year last year. Douglas hasn't done a whole lot of winning while he's been here. If you win another 4 games this year, they're out. But if you show improvement and you make the right decisions, you're coming back. So this draft's huge. And for the Giants in the Brian Daboll era, it's huge to get off on the right foot. And after all these other regimens couldn't get it correct, if Joe Shane and Daboll can get it correct in their first draft, that would be a huge step in the right direction. You talk about changing the foundation. You talk about changing an organization. If you can nail it, you got 2 picks in the top 7 in your first draft. If you can nail those picks, that is huge. I mean, you're talking success for a very long time. And continued success. So a big draft for them as they start their new chapter led by Daboll and Shane. And like I said, for Douglas and Saleh, pivotal year this year. Pivotal 2 picks to get this thing turned around. And that's why I'm super excited, but I'm also a little nervous. Because I can tell you what, last year, I would put money on it the Jets were going Zach Wilson. We all knew the Jets were going Zach Wilson. This year, the Jets might go Aquanu, the Jets might go Jermaine Johnson, the Jets might go Thibodeau, the Jets might go Sauce Gardner, Jets might go in a million different directions, Jets might trade back number 10, who knows. Last year we knew Wilson was number 2. They did, obviously they did trade back, but obviously all that stuff, or I apologize, Jets, what, did they trade? No, they traded up. So I understand all that aspect of it, but like I said, Jets are, Jets, Giants, huge draft. So, let's get to the mock draft. So, Jets, like I said, hold 4 and 10. Giants hold 5 and 7. So, at number 4, like I said, I like a lot of these prospects. I like Sauce a lot. I think, I've watched a little bit. I actually started to watch a little bit of Jermaine Johnson film the past couple days. I was watching a little bit earlier today and a little bit yesterday. I've seen some of the people hyping him up. So, I was watching a little bit of highlights and a little bit of film from him just to see kind of what the player he was. And I like him a lot. I think he's an option too. But number 4, I think this is obvious. If he falls to you, it's been a position of need for a really long time. I really like Sauce Gardner, I do. But at number 4, I think the Jets got to go to Kayvon Thibodeau at number 4. And I personally, I'm not so much saying, like I said, this is a little bit of what I think these teams are going to do and a little bit of what they should do. So I could see the Jets going in many different directions here, but I got edge Kayvon Thibodeau at number 4, like I said. Versatility, gets to the quarterback. one of the things I can't say enough about Kayvon Thibodeau, from what I've seen in the film I've watched, the highlights I've seen him play a couple times live while he was in Oregon. What I can say about Thibodeau that is super pivotal to what the Jets want to build here and what they want to do as an organization is how quick he is getting off the line and how quick he is once that ball snapped, how quick he is getting off the line of scrimmage and getting to the quarterback. I often talk about Saleh's defense being that defense where you look at Saleh, and this is why I feel like they aren't going to go the route of taking Sauce Gardner, because you look at what Saleh's done. He's never been a guy to go out and draft corners at high pick corners. It's been other defensive position he takes high, not high pick corners, because, like I said, he's more of a underrated corner kind of guy. Bring them in, hope to develop them, get them to a solid level. But the big thing with Saleh and how his defense is run, get pressure on the quarterback, take less stress off the corners. So Thibodeau does that. And that's why the Jets went out and got Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson was up there in the lead of quickest time, from once the ball snapped, quickest time to get off the line of scrimmage and get to the quarterback. He had one of the fastest pass rushers in the league in terms of getting off the line and getting to the quarterback. Thibodeau, same thing. One of the fastest pass rushers in the college football. Getting off the line, getting to the quarterback, causing chaos, putting less stress on your secondary. So, if you can get a healthy Carl Lawson and Thibodeau on the same side, two guys that are quick off the line, two guys that are very smart, two guys that have very similar play styles. The Jets preach pressure on the quarterback. You have two guys that can give you pressure. I would love it. I like it a lot. And I think that's where the Jets go here at number 4. And that's where I think the Jets should go at number 4. Like I said, I would have no issue with Sauce. But, if you're talking about, I would have no issue with Sauce, like I said. But if you're talking about a need that's been filled for a long time, we also have a lot of other young corners that could be nice pieces as well. So I'm going to go with Thibodeau at number 4, edge out of Oregon. Number 4 goes Kayvon Thibodeau. Like I said, this is also what I think is going to happen. I don't see the Jets taking Sauce. I really don't. Like I said, I would have no issue with it. Thibodeau is my first choice. If he's there, I just don't see the Jets going Sauce. I really don't. Especially with them taking Michael Corda last year. He showed promise. You already have Bryce Hall. You have a ton of young guys. I just don't see it. So I see him taking Thibodeau at number 4, edge out of Oregon. Fills a need that the Jets haven't had a legit edge rusher in really long time. So fills that need, brings him in, and one of the more talented guys in the draft, like I've said many times. Number 10, another tough area. I could see the Jets going in many directions. I could see the Jets trading back. If something escalates within the next 24 hours, where Deebo Samuel becomes truly available and the Jets make a trade for him, I would assume the 10th pick's involved, and I would have no issue with it. Number 10 could go in many different places for the Jets. It could go receiver. If the Jets decide to go corner at 4 and then go edge at 10 with Jermaine Johnson maybe falling. If the Jets go offensive lineman at 4, Equanu, and then maybe edge at 10, so many different areas. But I think the most logical and the most realistic option, given what the Jets are probably going to do at number 4, is go receiver at 10. So I'm at 10. Like I said, I would love to bring in Garrett Wilson. Drake London, I was about to say Drake Wilson, but Drake London, another solid asset. Garrett Wilson, another solid asset. And Jameson Williams as well. On here, I have Jameson Williams. Personally, at number 10, if the Jets would to stay put, I think the Jets are probably going to go the route of Jameson Williams. Deep ball threat. He's quick. He's a guy that, explodes off the line. And like I said, a legit deep threat, which the Jets really don't have right now. Corey Davis struggled a little bit last year, and I think with the uncertainty around him, if he has a good year this year, he's staying on. But if he has a bad year this year, it's not, it wouldn't be a great look for him. So I'm gonna go with Jameson Williams here. And my biggest thing with Jameson Williams is this: there's no doubt, if he's healthy, a lot of people think he's the most talented receiver in the draft. I don't think that the receiver gap is much of a drastic change from when you talk about Drake London to Garrett Wilson to Jameson Williams. From what I've seen, from what I've watched, the gap in talent at receiver isn't crazy. You can't go wrong. And even later round receivers, if you go Dotson in the later round or Christian Watson out of North Dakota State rather in the later round, you could go all those guys. All those guys are solid pieces. So I don't think you can really go wrong here. But a lot of people believe that the best receiver in the draft is Jameson Williams. So if the Jets believe that if he goes, if the Jets believe that if everything checks out okay with his health and his torn ACL is fine, he can be ready for training camp and he's good to go and it's not something that's going to affect him moving forward, you take Jameson Williams. I would have no issue with Garrett Wilson as well. I've actually seen Garrett Wilson play a whole lot more than Jameson Williams. I will tell you that. I've seen Garrett Wilson play. I actually saw Garrett Wilson play live before, a whole lot more than Jameson Williams. So that's the one thing. Just from my own personal experience, I've seen Garrett Wilson a lot. That's why I'm a little bit more familiar to him. But I've also seen Williams highlights, and I've watched him on TV before, all throughout, college football playoff. I know he tore his ACL in the championship game. But obviously, he was definitely a solid asset for Clemson this season. Had a breakout year with, 1,500-plus receiving yards. Gives the Jets a deep ball threat. A lot of people say he could be that Jamar Chase of the draft, if you want to make a comparison. So, really lethal player. So, at 4, I have Thibodeau. 10, I have Jameson Williams. So, that's where I go with the Jets. Coming up next, we're going to take a quick break here. Coming up next, I'm going to tell you the Giants mock draft. All right, so we welcome you back here. I just wanted to take a quick break to get to the Giants now. So like I said, 4 I have Thibodeau, 10 I have Jameson Williams or Garrett Wilson. I have no issue there. I like both of them a lot. I really do. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. I like Jameson Williams a lot. I have no issue with either. I would love Jameson Williams if he never had the torn ACL. That's the biggest thing. If his knee was all right, I would be all on the Jameson Williams bandwagon. But given that he tore his ACL, that does bump him a little bit down. Torn ACL is a big thing, but you've seen a lot more guys recover from it than not. But that earlier in your career, it's always something to keep in the back of your mind. So you just got to watch out there. But like I said, I would have no issue with, I have no issue with the Jets wherever they go. Wherever they go, you're going to find a way to justify it. My biggest thing is if I would explode if the Jets take a linebacker. I don't really know why the Jets would take a linebacker. I like Nakobe Dean a lot if he falls in the second round. An option there. But a lot of people ask me, what would be my biggest issue for the Jets to take? And it's got to be realistic. Not like to take a quarterback because that's not going to happen. But like a realistic possibility for the Jets to take. I would hate it if the Jets took a linebacker in the first round. I wouldn't understand the logic. At number 4. If they trade back at number 10 and maybe take Dean in like the 20s, I guess I wouldn't hate it, or an interior defensive lineman. If they go like an interior defensive lineman at 4, I'd blow up. Especially the fact that they just picked up Quinnen Williams' 5th-year option, I'd explode. Because that just makes no sense. It's not a need. It's actually the strength of the D-line. Why are you taking another interior defensive lineman? But, like I said, we haven't had it in a long time. You need a legit edge. So you go Thibodeau 4, 10 at Jameson Williams, or Garrett Wilson either or. If everything checks out okay with Jameson Williams, I see the Jets going the Jameson Williams route out of Alabama. All right, so, like I said, that's just me. That's just me. That's what I think could happen. That's what I want to see happen. That's also without trades. Could I see the Jets trading back at 10? Yeah, I think it's a realistic possibility. I really do. Could I see them staying put? Yeah. Could I see the Jets going in 50 different angles with this? Yeah, I really could. So, it's definitely an interesting draft for sure. All right, so let's get to the Giants. So, Giants' first pick is number 5. And like I said, I think whatever the Jets and the top 4 picks don't do, the Giants will do. So, let's say Thibodeau falls through the top 4. Giants take Thibodeau. Let's say Jermaine Johnson possibly falls to the top 4. I could see the Giants looking at Jermaine Johnson. Ekwonu, although I think Ekwonu very well could go either number 1 or number 2. I could see Ekwonu going within the top 3. Ekwonu could be a guy out of number 4. Ekwonu could also be a guy for the Jets to look out for as well. If the Jets want to go that route and completely bulk up the offensive line. So all those different possibilities. So I could see that if the top 4 passes up on Sauce, Giants I could see taking Sauce. So at number 5, based off of what I see, I think the Giants, number 5, take Sauce Gardner, quarterback out of Cincinnati. And I think for the Giants, look, you get an immediate number 1. And I will always say this because, and I know it's so hard to say, but you get, in terms of like, you talk about safe picks, this is a very safe pick. Because there's another cornerback in the draft in Derek Stingley, which I have no issue with, but it's not an extremely safe pick. It's kind of a little bit of a risky pick. He's had some injuries, some nagging injuries. He's had some stuff like that. Not an incredibly safe pick. And his injuries are, like I said, nagging injuries. They're not one big thing. They're little nagging injuries that could affect you for your career. So I think you take health. I think you take the best overall cornerback in the draft. You get a day one starter. You get a guy that could come in day one and be that number one guy. And like I said, Giants lost Logan Ryan in the offseason. I know he's a safety, but they still lost him. Veteran. I know there's so much, there's a lot of, the uncertainty around James Bradbury is still going on. Will he be with the team week one? Who knows? If you lose him, then you kind of lose your number one guy. You bring him in with a young asset, and you build for the future. That's what this pick does. And I will always say this, and I will continue to say this, and I will continue to say this to the, especially if he goes to either the Jets or the Giants, where I talk about them a lot. The day, I will always say this until week one. The fact that Sauce Gardner never let up a touchdown is in his entire career, I think is huge. I think he is a guy that really, that's just great. I kind of zoned out for a second. Like I said, he went, he's never allowed a touchdown. That to me should be the big factor when teams look to draft him, is the fact that he never allowed a touchdown. So I'm going Sauce if you're the Giants at 5. If Equanu's there, are you willing to take the risk, pass up on Equanu to take Sauce? Or do you have the risk of Sauce not being there at 7? I drawing a blank on who picks in front of the Giants. Let me check here. I want to say it's the Panthers for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think it is, but I want to say it is. Let me see. So it's not Mississippi State. It is Panthers. So, like I said, number 5 could be Sauce. Panthers are at 6, so they could possibly go O-line, or Panthers could possibly trade out and wait for a quarterback and gather more picks. Sauce at 5. Number 7. Now, like I said, here's the thing with the Giants. Especially with last year, the Panthers drafting cornerback at number 6. And I kind of just realized this now, because I just kind of just caught on to this now. If the Giants take Sauce at 5, that's okay, but you risk the possibility of Evan Neal not being there at 7. So I'd actually probably reverse this if you're the Giants. You'd probably take best available O-line at 5, which would be Evan Neal. 7 would be Sauce. Evan Neal brings a great amount of versatility, can play just about every position on the offensive line, fills a whole lot of needs, something the Giants need. If the Giants want to go in and take Sauce at number 5, with just in case if the risk factor comes in, if the Panthers trade back and a team comes up and takes Sauce, if you want to take that, if you don't want to have that risk linger, you take Sauce at 5. If you believe the Panthers are going to stay settled at 6, you're going to go probably 5 would be Evan Neal, or best offensive line available. Have the Panthers settle on Charles Cross, which isn't a bad option, but I'd take Evan Neal over Charles Cross. And in 7, you take Sauce. So either way, I see the Giants. Either way, I see the Giants. I have an odd feeling that the Giants come out of this. Number 5 and 7, they come out with an offensive line and a cornerback. Because if they don't take Sauce, I've heard a whole lot of rumors that the Giants, and a lot of people believe that Stingley is a guy to look out for teams that are looking for secondary help. So that's kind of where the Giants fall under. They could fall under a Stingley category. I think if Equanu somehow falls through the top 4 and he's at 5, Giants got to take Equanu at 5. Because if you pass up on Equanu at 5, it could guarantee you're not going to him at 7, because the Panthers are going to take Equanu at 6. So it's kind of where the Giants see this. Are they okay with going in? Are they okay with taking an offensive lineman at 5 with the risk of passing up on Sauce and maybe having a team trade up with the Panthers, so the Panthers are going to trade back and maybe take a quarterback later on, and then that team taking Sauce at 6? Or do they just take Sauce at 6, but also have the possibility of losing Evan Neal or Kwanu or one of the better offensive linemen, and maybe having to settle on a guy like a Charles Cross, who's not bad, but not as elite as a Neal or an Kwanu. So I'd say Sauce at 5, Evan Neal at 7, probably realistically. You could also see Neal at 5, Sauce at 7. I would almost guarantee you, though, that the Giants somehow come out of this with an offensive lineman, definitely, and I could very well see a corner, too. I don't see a receiver. They could maybe trade back, but it's like if Sauce Gardner, who a lot of people had him going in the top 4, is there at number 7, I would not trade back. I'd take Sauce at 7. That's a great value for a great piece. So Giants too fall under that position of an interesting scenario for them. Like I said, I think there's a big I think there's a big difference. I know a lot of people like Stingley a lot, but I think there's a pretty big difference when you compare Stingley to Sauce. Sauce been a guy that's out there for a whole lot of snaps, never has allowed a touchdown. Stingley, a guy who hasn't been the exact same player he was earlier in his college career, has been hurt, banged up with injuries. He's very talented, but the whole injury thing concerns me a lot. And the whole not allowing a touchdown thing for Sauce is what got me very, very high on Sauce Gardner. So, you can see the Giants going either way there. I could also see the Giants trading back. Depending on where they go, I might disagree. If Sauce is there at 7, I would probably disagree if the Giants trade back. You get Sauce Gardner at 7 for a guy that a lot of people thought might go in the top 3, top 4. If you could get him at 7, that's huge. So I would not, if Sauce is there at 7, I would not trade back if you're the Giants. If you take Sauce at 5, and let's say Evan Neal's off the board at 6, and you don't really like your O-line options at 7, or you feel it's a reach, you could trade back. Maybe if Charles Cross, you feels a reach at 7, you could trade back, gather up more picks, take Charles Cross maybe in the teens, and you kind of win it there. And you load up offensive line as well, taking Sauce at 5. So I think the Giants, there's 2 really clear-cut needs. Now, the Giants, too, you could also go, you could create the possibility of going edge. Maybe if Jermaine Johnson falls, you could take him. I think there's a more likely possibility that Jermaine Johnson falls to number 7 than a guy like a Sauce falls to number 7. I would not reach and take Jermaine Johnson at 5. I think offensive lineman's a bigger need for the Giants than edge. And I also think corner's a bigger need for the Giants than edge as well. That's just me, though. You could go late. And I don't think it's a bad thing either if the Giants take a receiver later on in the draft. I don't think there should be any, I don't think Giants fans should have any issue with that if they do decide to go receiver later on. It doesn't hurt to build depth. And look, you don't really know what you got in Kadarius Toney. That's a question. Kenny Golladay had an awful season for the amount of money he's getting paid. If he has a bad year this year, can you really guarantee that Kenny Golladay is going to be on the roster come next season? Or do you try to dump him off and get rid of him? That's a question. So it can't hurt to build more depth, especially with your rookie wide receiver last season having the up and down year he did. If you could bring in another rookie and maybe get a little bit of a competition going there, kind of also maybe gets Kenny Golladay. You could also maybe light a fire under Kenny Golladay too, because it kind of shows you, look, it's a new regimen, this is a new group. Joe Shane did not sign Golladay, so nor did Joe Shane draft Kadarius Toney. So if you bring in another rookie receiver, you can kind of light a fire a little bit under Golladay and Toney to get going. Like, let's go. Toney, spot's not secure, and Golladay too. For the amount of money he's getting paid, he's got to step it up. And that could also, that could be beneficial for Daniel Jones. You could always have more pieces. And guys like Sterling, that also raises the bar for guys like Sterling Shepard and stuff to make sure that they're healthy and they're out there week in and week out making plays. So, there's a lot of different options. A lot of different options for the Jets and the Giants. So I'm going to roll with Thibodeau at 4 for the Jets. At number 10, I see the Jets probably taking Jameson Williams. I would have no issue with Jameson Williams or Garrett Wilson. And then number 5 for the Giants, I see them taking either offensive line or cornerback at Sauce. I would probably say they probably take offensive line. I could see Sauce there too. Number 7, I could see offensive line or Sauce Gardner. I see them taking a corner. If they want to go safe, if they want to play it safe and make sure that Sauce is theirs, they take him at 5. Just in case if the risk of the Panthers trading out and bringing a team coming in and taking Sauce just to eliminate that risk and take him there. And number 7, I see an offense line. Now, you have a risk there too. Because, there's a risk if you leave Charles Cross and Evan Neal as the 2 options for the Panthers at 6, they're probably going to take Evan Neal. So that'd leave you with Charles Cross, which might force the Giants into a trading back situation. Getting more picks and maybe taking Cross when he's worth better value in the teens if the Giants decide to go that route of trading back. So I could see the Jets and the Giants both trading back. However, I don't see either team trading up. I will tell you that. I don't see either team trading up. I can't see the Jets trading up. I can't see the Giants trading up. I don't see why the Giants would trade up. Where are they going to trade up to? Jets ain't trading with the Giants. Not going to trade up to number 6 just so they have back-to-back picks. That's dumb. That's not happening. I can almost guarantee that's not happening. So, Thibodeau, Williams, I could see going to the Jets. Sauce and Evan Neal, I could see going to the Giants. Also, Garrett Wilson could also be an option for the Jets there at 10 receiver. I would have Sauce could be an option for the Jets. I just don't see the Jets going that route. That's my opinion. Would I have an issue with it? I wouldn't see an issue with it. I just don't see the Jets going that route. That's what I personally think is going to happen. So, Thibodeau, Williams, or Garrett Wilson there at 10, and then Sauce and Evan Neal. And if Ekwonu falls, Giants could look at him too, and you never know, Jets could look at him as well as an option. So, that will do it for my Jets and Giants mock draft. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. Why I'm so excited this year is because I think, number 1, for the first time in forever, the Jets, it seems like every other Jets got a quarterback that they got to take. So it's not like we're taking a quarterback. And this year, it's so unpredictable. So that's why I'm a little nervous, because it's and I will tell you, I always am nervous on draft night. It's always about an hour or so before the draft, I always get nervous. Because I'm always thinking to myself, all right, we're an hour out here. We're an hour out from trying to turn this organization around. And I think why I'm also a little nervous about this year's draft is because, and also even more excited, is because this year's draft means so much, and there's so much on the line for the Jets. And the same goes for the Giants. Having 4 picks for the New York football teams creates a whole lot of excitement for people like me who talk New York sports and New York sports fans, Jets and Giants fans. It creates a whole lot of excitement. But this shouldn't be what it is. New York football shouldn't be where four picks by each, where each team has 2 picks in the top 10. That can't happen. Because that just means that you're not playing good football. However, the other 2 picks were traded. So, Giants got the Bears pick. Jets have Seattle picked. That's also because the Bears and Seattle stunk. So, that you can't blame. But still, Jets and the Giants either way would have 5 and 4 anyway. The goal, although as much as it makes this time of year exciting, having top 10 picks usually means that you're a pretty bad team. That's what we want to avoid. So, it's a huge draft. And I'm going to finish off today on this note. Like I said, you talk about big off seasons. And I talked about this up to this point. Last year was a big off season, but it was the honeymoon phase. Right? Because Salah we knew would be getting year 2. Last year was the honeymoon phase. That was year 1. This year is huge. You can't win 4 games this season. You can't. And I'll probably be saying the same thing until week 1. You can't. You got to win more than 4. You win 4, you got to restart all over again. You got to win more. You got to compete. The expectation is the Jets are a talk in December and that they're playing meaningful games in December because that needs to start happening. And I've thought the Jets, I really think that the Jets have had a very good offseason up to this point. I've liked a lot of the moves that the Jets have made, especially the really big ones that I think have been really pivotal. And now this is kind of like the cherry on top. The Jets, I thought, did a really good job in free agency. I like that they were aggressive for Hill, although it did not end up in a deal. I like the fact that the Jets at least showed some aggressiveness. That's a positive sign for what the Jets could possibly do in the future. Deebo Samuel, I don't see it happening, but that'd be great. But you've had a very good offseason up to this point. Now it's time to nail it. If you nail the draft and you put a cherry on top, this would be a pivotal offseason. If we're talking about Jets playoffs, next year, you could turn back to the draft. You could turn back to the offseason and show that why we were so successful is because of the offseason that we had. So, we've had a very good offseason, and like I said, next season you need to build. Is the expectation playoffs? I don't see that happening, but should we be playing meaningful games in December? Yes. Should we be competitive? Yes. And we've nailed the offseason up to this point. This is one of the biggest drafts the Jets have had in a really long time. Douglas and his staff and Joe Douglas got to get this right Thursday night if you really want to turn this thing around and really cap off what has been up to this point a very good offseason. And if you cap it off on a positive note, that is a huge step forward for the New York Jets. And the same that I pretty much just said goes for the Giants. It's a new regimen. Joe Shane, Brian Dable's first draft. They've done what they've needed to do so far in the offseason. Big draft for them. If they can nail this, that's a huge step in the right direction to start off. That's a huge first step in the right direction for the Giants. The same goes for the Jets, like I've said. Huge drafts for both teams. Both teams need to get it right. That's the reality. So, that will do it for today's podcast. Like I said, I'll be back on Friday. I'll recap day 1, preview day 2, and get you ready for day 3 and all that good stuff. And the rest of it, I'll also do the New York sports update and all that good stuff with all the other sports. Today was just a draft pod. Just wanted to talk the NFL draft and all that fun stuff. So that will do it for today's podcast. Everybody enjoy the NFL draft. Whatever you're doing, whether you're watching it, wherever you are, whether you're doing a party, whether you're watching alone, whatever you're doing, whether you're streaming it, whatever you're doing, enjoy the draft. Hope your team, hope you like your team's picks for whatever team you root for. And if you're a Jet fan like me, we gotta hope that Douglas and Saleh and his staff and all that in the front office of the New York Jets get this thing right. Because if they can get it right, that would be huge for this organization. So, go Jets. Hoping for a very, very, very good day 1 in the NFL draft. And I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.